guys, welcome to the third episode of Indie Couch Sessions, and it's been a great ride so far. We had Shayok Banerjee gracing the first episode, and we had Joel Parikar from Bombay in the second. And we had two singer-songwriters talking about their experiences in the first and second episodes. And the third one, we wanted to deviate a little bit from the genre and the sounds that we were discussing. We have somebody totally from a very different music space altogether. My good old friend Ronnie from Bangalore, Ronee Roy. He's a fingerstyle guitar player. There's a lot of jazz elements in his playing. There's a little bit of South American influences now. So we're going to talk about all the layers of fingerstyle guitar, which Ronnie is going to talk us through. And before everything else, thank you so much, Ronnie, for joining us. I know that I've been asking you to do this for a while. I know that you've been busy, and we all have gone through a lot of ups and downs in our lives in the past 1 year. I'm sure. I mean, friends around us, we have a lot of mutual friends. At one point of time, we didn't really feel like doing things like a talk show or releasing something musically. But then it's time finally that I thought that I should do this. So thanks a lot. Tell me, how have you been, and how's the scene in Bangalore? And in terms of your playing, I know that you're doing a lot of Facebook live sessions and all that. But then that's not all for a musician, I understand. So how are you going to keep yourself fulfilled musically, and how have you been overall?
Yeah, so in Bangalore right now, situation is very different. The only thing is that I have a house and I get to play like whenever I want to because of the work from home facility. So practice-wise, I have been practicing a lot, but otherwise there's been a complete lockdown going on like more than a month. So it's been difficult for a lot of people. For people like us who are a bit privileged, like we at least have a house, all right, we have a roof on our head. So for us, it's not that difficult. But right now, I desperately want to go out and just meet people. It's been like
It's
ages
been it's been
since
a
I've met you and all that, all my
it's been
friends and
100 years.
everyone.
It seems like it's been 100 years
Yes,
that we've chilled in Picos in
yeah.
Bangalore. But
Hmm.
for our viewers, just tell us a little bit about your sound. And I know that it's something not what everyone may relate to, but
Hmm.
music is something which has got no language. And I completely love your music. Whenever you come online, I make it a point to watch every session of yours because I feel I can take back a lot of things by listening to something of which I'm not that well acquainted with. But then I'm sure there are others also who keep asking you for lessons and techniques and how to go about this.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your sound and how what you have been doing in the past few years and what's the plan for the future and the sound which is very niche.
Hmm. So it has been quite a journey, like being a complete rock and roll from a rock and roll guitar player back in the early 2000s, late 90s to someone who is playing classical guitar. I don't consider myself as a Western classical musician, though I do play some of the classical pieces. But other than that, my whatever I'm studying these days is entirely based on the music of South America, not only like Brazil. So it started with Brazil, but then I started learning more about the music of Argentina, Peru, Venezuela, uh, Bolivia, and such places. So right now, that's what I'm studying these days, and it's not only like I'm studying South American, I mean bossa nova, like Brazilian jazz and all that. I'm mostly studying like South American folk music, and I love that sound. And there's a sense of nostalgia and longing in their music. They call it as saudade, uh, and I absolutely love that sound. And there's a lot of harmonically also. It's a bit complex, but lyrically really nice to hear. But when you're playing it, there's a lot of things going on at the same time. And most of the guitar players over there, they prefer playing the classical guitar.
Right.
So, and to get that sound and all that, so I thought of learning the classical guitar first. So what I did was I went to a teacher and learned Western classical guitar, like learning classical pieces and all that. So slowly I deviated from that and from the European classical music, and I went into like studying a lot of South American music. And it kind of helps, like if you know how to play the classical guitar. First of all, it builds your finger dexterity because you're using your fingers instead of a plectrum,
Right.
and so it kind of helped. And yeah, these days I'm studying all the greats like Villa Lobos, Augustin Barrios, also modern composers like Guinga, Yamandu Costa, and all these guys.
I've heard one
So
or two
yeah.
names at the most, and I haven't heard any of their music. I'm being very honest with you. So if you could give us a specimen of what is the sound like and how you have been inspired to incorporate those elements in the original compositions that you make, sitting at
Uh,
home. These days, you've been making some great compositions of late.
hmm. Before playing one of my music, I want to just show like demonstrate a kind of thing like, so when you're talking about like UK or US popular music, let's
Mhm.
say pop or let's say country and everything, it's like most of the chord progressions are like, but in Brazil, even if they're playing popular music, it's harmonically more enhanced. I mean, more rich. So if I'm playing in the same thing, like in the key of G, so you can understand the harmonic complexity of it. But there's also a bit of melancholy and all that in their music. So
I
that's the
think
difference, and I kind of more drawn to this kind of stuff.
no, I mean it also takes me back to the movies that these guys used to make back in the day. I think a lot of Glover films that I had watched, in the music was
Hmm.
very striking that way. And also, I think Gustavo
Yes.
Santaolalla, did I say the name correct? So all these
Yes.
people, I mean, there's definitely a lot of influence there. But then let's hear one of your own compositions.
All right. The first tune I'm going to play, it's like a tune I wrote a few months back, this year only. So I wrote this for my partner. Uh, she's
So
over
cute,
here. But
so cute.
so this one is called Amanece. Amanece means like dawn.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so yeah, so it goes something like this.
ওয়ান সেকেন্ড তো এক সেকেন্ড একটু কাট করছি, বলছি রনিদা তুমি এটা অডিওটা রেকর্ড করছো তো?
অডিও রেকর্ড হচ্ছে।
ও ওয়ান্ডারফুল, জাস্ট কনফার্ম করলাম। হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, লেটস গো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, দাঁড়া, আরেকটা অডিও আমি আলাদা করেও রেকর্ড করে পাঠাতে পারি।
হ্যাঁ আলাদা করেই বলছি, তুমি তোমার জাস্ট টিউনস গুলো রেকর্ড করে তুমি যদি ইমেল করে দাও আমাদেরকে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওটা আমি রেকর্ড করে পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ বাস বাস, পারফেক্ট।
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে, কুল। সো শ্যাল আই স্টার্ট?
ইয়া, লেটস হিয়ার।
অলরাইট।
Yeah, so peaceful, I mean, I mean, that's been the case with your music also, and I'm sure your partner must have loved this one. And
Hmm.
it's actually very, it's got that very, innocence to it, and also, I mean, it's a very honest composition, and I could feel a lot of emotions when you are going here and there playing these notes. But I think that's the
Hmm.
essence of playing fingerstyle guitar, and as against to the American style that you were showing. Like we
Hmm.
can play five chords and sing a song, but then to get into what all are the various layers and notes hidden in those five chords, I think that's where
Hmm.
the actual guitar playing is all about, which is obviously a lesson when I'm talking to you all the time. So yeah, thank you so much again for playing this. And you were talking a lot about your influences from all these legends you spoke out in South America, and also I think Tariga, and you spoke about Sor,
Hmm.
right? When we were talking
Fernando
about
Sor,
it
yes.
this morning. So
Uh,
just tell us, like, how did you get to these people? Because I think Tariga was in the 1800 and early 1900 or something, and similarly for Soul. And the only thing I know, I've heard that about his didactic verses and all these instructional lessons he used to prepare, and all these things I've heard. Whatever I
hmm.
little I have read, but then how
Hmm.
did you relate to that kind of music, and what was that change from rock and roll to this? How did that happen?
So, Tariga and Sword, all these like classic composers for the classical guitar. So I came to know about them like while I was studying classical guitar. Right?
Okay.
So when I started studying classical guitar, so in the repertoire you have to go through all these masters while learning.
Mhm.
So once I started learning their pieces, so it kind of I found they were really harmonically. Again, as for music, for me it's like I look for like rich harmony in the
Mhm.
music. All right,
Mhm.
like chord construction, the
Mhm.
way you construct all the chords and the phrases and the
Mhm.
how it goes. So I started studying those guys. I mean, the masters of the classical guitar. So
Mhm.
there's a piece called Recuerdos de la Alhambra by Tarega. It's one of the famous classical guitar compositions. So, so once I started digging deep more into this kind of composers, and these guys were specifically composing for the guitar, not like Bach
Right,
or Beethoven, who were
right, right.
mostly composing for the organ or the piano. So these guys were composing for the guitar, and I come to understand that all right, there were like endless possibilities when it comes to
Mhm.
guitar, like while
Of
you're
course, and also it's the instrument at its raw self. You know, it's like a Spanish
yes.
guitar. It comes. We used to call it a Spanish guitar back in the day, right? When we were kids, okay,
Hmm,
that's Spanish guitar. So that was
hmm,
one thing attached to the instrument. But and you were talking about the guitar players from Spain, which completely balances the equation here. But coming to the
yeah.
contemporary world, you are in Bangalore, and you've been in Calcutta before. You've been in Bangalore for many years, actually. You have seen Bangalore
Hmm,
scene when it was buzzing to now when
hmm,
it is crying. It's the same thing where
hmm,
everywhere in every
hmm.
city, all the venues are getting getting shut off. So, how do you see your music? In terms of reaching people in this kind of a scenario. Also, I understand Facebook and Instagram, all
Hmm,
that is there, but then
hmm, hmm,
that is all in the digital way of doing it
hmm.
now because of a pandemic on when touch will be recover from this very soon since vaccination drive is on. Uh, how do you want to channel your music to the listeners? I mean, in the sense in a live concert per se. Like, do you think that in India, if there's a concert on classical guitars, you get enough people to play your tunes to your original tunes to?
Yeah, that's possible only if we have enough concert halls. Like you
That's
cannot take a
what, right?
classical
Yeah.
guitar and play in pubs. So there's a dearth of proper venues in India. We don't have much concert hall where people will go and only listen to music. We mostly have pubs. Here I see like most of the, even when the rock and roll and metal bands are playing in pubs, no one is listening to the music. All right.
Mhm.
Everyone is just enjoying their drinks and food, which is fine in a way.
The sound of
Uh,
cutlery
peop-
has been very disturbing for me personally whenever I have sung in pubs.
yes, yeah,
Like
it
when you
happens.
are
Yeah, it
singing
happens. Mhm.
something, then somebody's eating, and that noise of the spoon hitting the plate, it makes you feel that, okay, fine, the person is here to eat, let's accept it. It's like that.
Yeah, there's a funny story actually.
Please,
Once,
please
like
tell us.
we went to watch a gig. Like there was me and Obijatri. All
Okay,
right,
a
and
good
we
old
are
friend,
sitting right.
yes.
Yes, so we were sitting right in front of the in front of the bandstand, and the band was playing, and Obijatri was talking. I said a bit loudly in a way, and he was so in that moment, and the band. I mean the main man of the band. I think it was Peter of Chronic Blues. So he asked me like, "Can you tell your friend to shut up?" I said, "Oh, all right, Peter." So then obviously got a bit miffed about the entire situation. But yeah, that happens. It kind of disturbs the musician. I completely agree. Like,
Right.
but yeah, also we need proper venues to have these concerts. Like, you need to have proper concert halls with good
Like
acoustics
sound
and
wise, I mean,
everything.
it can't be that
Yes.
one venue is having a Pink Floyd tribute concert, and like
Hmm.
the next day it can't have a classical guitar concert from out of nowhere, because I mean, I think you have to space it
Hmm.
out like that, because to look at audience behavior and things like
Hmm.
that. We'll get to that, but before that, another tune.
All right. This one is not my tune, but this is again one of the influences that I have had. This is again a folk tune from Venezuela. It's called
Uh-huh.
La Partida.
Okay.
So it has different names, all right, because it has a
What
folk
does it
tune
mean?
like
What does La
uh,
Partida mean?
it's a form of dance. That's what I
Okay.
think. All right.
Okay.
So some people call it as pika pika wall. It's a waltz, all right, in 3/4.
Waltz.
And
Okay.
some people call it as la partida. There's other names as well. So again, it's like a
Wow.
traditional tune. All
This
right.
is a
So it
very
goes something like
insightful episode, of course, for our viewers.
all right. So this one goes something like this. So this this one is called this one is a waltz, and you can feel the waltz like that
Of course.
that kind of that kind of thing.
Of course, of course.
So yeah,
Uh, you
so
are
this is from
also,
Venezuela.
yeah, I mean, I was about to get to that. I mean, like the way you are traveling South American countries with your music is beautiful. And because I personally don't have much of an idea except for the little bit of movies and TV series that I've watched from South America. Like Spain is very
Hmm,
popular on Netflix now. People are watching
hmm,
those Spanish
hmm.
dramas like Who Killed Sarah and Money Heist and things like that. So, and also in
Also,
Narcos, I have
also football, right? We are all connected with
football.
football,
We also
and you
connect with
can see
football.
even when they're playing football, there's a lot of vibrancy in their like how they dance and all that. Their carnivals,
Yes.
the carnival in Rio, it's a very
Yes.
vibrant culture they have over there. Yes.
Yes, I mean, like,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So it's beautiful that how you are traveling with your music, and in terms of the fact that whenever you are moving from, say, a Madrid to Venezuela, and the sound is changing a little bit, but keeping the core
Hmm,
essence of Latin
hmm,
music,
hmm,
intact, which is
hmm,
beautiful. I'm going to come back to India again and also talk about how we are going
hmm.
to like place this music in this context here. So, what do you think about the music that's happening around you? Who have you been listening to, and from the indie space in India, who have you been listening to, and who do you think that our listeners should definitely check out, and whatever is happening around us? I wanted to know from your perspective and what's actually in your playlist right now.
All right, from India, unfortunately, I haven't been able to listen to a lot of new stuff that's happening around. But from the guitar players' point of view, yes, I have been checking out some guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this guy called Siddharth Gautam. He
Mm-hmm.
used to stay in Bangalore. Then he was doing sessions for a lot of musicians.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young kid, and so this now he moved to Bombay, and now he's again back to his hometown in Delhi. because of the pandemic and stuff. So this guy plays a lot of gypsy jazz kind of music, all right, and
Oh,
he's really good at it. So
okay.
that's one guy I'm like I keep on checking his music and his stuff. So he had this band called Django Twins. So they
Okay.
were like duo guitar player. The other guy, I'm forgetting his name. I think his name was Joey. So this guy is from Northeast. So two guitars and solid playing totally.
Wow. Wow.
And
Lovely.
other than that, from the indie music space, not much at all,
Do you listen to
actually.
the bands? Do you at all listen to the bands? So many bands that are there in India, be it Hindi, Bengali, English,
Uh,
whatever it is. You don't anymore?
Bengali, I have heard a few like indie bands. I am not sure of the names, but
Mhm.
but I kind of really like their music. I think I have heard a few songs of Talpata Shepai.
Oh,
I think
yes,
I
yes.
like the and Topshe. There's another guy called Topshe who does his own stuff.
Right,
I think
right.
his music is also his music. I kind of like his music.
Lovely,
But
lovely.
apart from that, I'm not that much in touch with the scene in India over here.
That's all right.
So,
It's completely okay if it everybody has their own sound, and it's just about perspectives and how you want to go about the music. I'm going to come back to Bangalore. I mean,
oh,
I
by the way, sorry, Rit, to cut you short.
yeah.
I love this band. I mean, there's a rock and roll band, but Girish and the Chronicles.
Oh, they're an amazing
Girish.
band. Girish Pradhan,
They're
right?
super tight.
He's
I mean,
monster.
yes, super tight, and everyone in the band. I mean, Girish is a monster. He's an amazing singer. Other than
Amazing
Girish,
singer.
also like the guitar player, the drummers, and all that,
Mhm.
spot on whatever they're playing. Their live shows are really good.
That's
I
great.
love the kind of energy they bring on the stage. Yeah,
One,
keep on
one
checking the
more
stuff as well.
one more important thing is that I keep asking people who come to this show about the city that they are staying in, because I
Hmm.
feel that city plays a very important part in your musical upliftment as well. Because, like for example, when I was in Cal, I was thinking differently. When I was in Bombay, I was thinking different because of the people I'm meeting every day, right? So
Hmm.
now, when you are in Bangalore, it's been so many years. It's a beautiful city. I mean, I love Bangalore. I keep going to
Hmm.
Bangalore to chill with you guys. So how much of an influence has the city been? Because I keep checking things like, but who are the influences around me, and what are the things around me, where my house is located, what can I see from my balcony. A lot depends on how you want to do your music. So how has Bangalore been for you?
Uh, it has been pretty good actually. So first of all, my previous house BTM, like I had like really good flatmates over there, and we were like
Perfect house,
doing music
yes.
and stuff over there. Yeah. So over here, it's more peaceful. The place I'm staying right now.
Mhm.
Uh, we have been to this place, One Vasanta.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's beautiful.
so over here, like also like the weather plays an important role, I think, because
Mhm.
when I'm in Calcutta, it's so humid and so
Mhm.
hot and all that. So you feel
You don't feel like
lethargic.
thinking,
You don't feel
actually.
like, yeah, I think it's like your mind is a bit foggy if you're staying
Tired.
there for a long time. You feel tired and all that. So over here, you get ample time to practice peacefully,
Mhm.
and yeah, and your palms are not sweaty when you're playing. So that's a
And
good
you
thing.
also have a certain Ovijatri in the next wing if you have to go for a gig.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
Vijatri is always there.
and yeah, so let's move to the next tune.
All right, this one I've played a lot. This one is like
Mother,
it's
let me
called
guess.
no. This is a classical
Okay,
tune. It's called Romanza.
all right.
So I can play Mother though. Yeah, anything.
Ah,
I
great.
think it's
Oh, it
better
was
that
not
I
in
have
your
to
list.
play my own stuff. Huh?
Yeah, you play
No,
your own stuff.
it
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't. It wasn't my in my list. But anyway, I can play it. Yeah, cool.
yeah, yeah. Go
So
ahead.
this is a song I wrote for my mother, and it's called Mother. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. So before playing this, I want to say like what I mostly do is like whenever I'm playing, I try to improvise a lot. All right. So it's not the same tune. If I'm playing it, like if I'm putting it in an EP, you might hear a different version of it altogether. But
Mhm.
whenever I'm doing music, it's like a kind of an, a journey for me. Like the plane flight starts, takes
Right.
some time in the air, and then it just lands. So it will be kind of an experiment that I'll be doing. I'll be just improvising on this
Oh,
tune.
that's fantastic. That could be a live
All
jam
right.
sort of a thing.
All right. Cool.
Let's hear. Wow, no, one thing I
So
was noticing that that skill of actually maintaining the rhythm as well as playing lines along with that. So this is
hmm,
something that takes years for people to acquire. And tell us a little bit about your guitar lessons. I'm sure after watching this video, there'll be a lot of people who will be inquiring that where can we take lessons from Ronnie Roy, and that's one. And secondly, what's the plan with your releases and all that? I know for a fact that you had one single release last year during the lockdown, which was a beautiful
hmm,
song. I remember that. But then
hmm.
talking about your instrumentals, and these are beautiful tunes. So what are your plans with that? You can answer the first question first, and then this.
Yeah, so for the classical, I mean the guitar playing thing, what I do is like I listen. I am always listening. I consider myself as a listener, so I'm listening to a lot of music. All right. So what I do is I kind of mix a lot of elements of classical guitar with with let's say jazz, and it a kind of mishmash of everything.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So even when I was playing that the first tune which I wrote for my partner called
mm-hmm.
Amanecer, so it has a section like so so this part it's again a rhythm called zamba. It's a not samba, but it's called zamba. It's an Argentinian rhythm. So it's like the rhythm is kind of like this. So I mix a lot of stuff. So to have your own sound, you need to listen to a lot of music and then come up with your own sound.
Right,
So that's
right.
what I do. Is I keep on listening to a lot of stuff. I borrow influences from there. I borrow something from there. That's from other music that I'm listening to, and kind of I mix it and
And are
kind
you
of try to bring my
teaching
own.
online? Are you like holding classes online?
I was. The problem is like, right now I'm looking for only serious students, like having a batch of only 5, 6 people, because what happens, like I have seen like most of the times, I mean, these guys will come and say after a few classes they will say, okay, can I learn this song of Guns N' Roses and all that. So I said, all right, you need to learn the guitar first, then you can pick up those songs by your ear, but you have to be to that
Everyone wants
go
to
to
play
that
the
level.
everyone wants to play
Yes.
electric guitar solos like Slash. But like even like
Yeah.
it was the same case when you were growing up, and even now I think it's the same. Nothing much has changed. But then, what
Yeah.
about the single releases and any album plans or anything on Spotify and things like that?
So I have recorded. There's a tune I have called "Train to Calcutta" that I have already completed recording that. I recorded in Calcutta like last year.
Mhm,
So, but what happened was because of lockdown, I wanted to have a video release for that, and just
mhm,
I didn't want to have a Spotify or releasing it on a platform
mhm,
without any visuals. I want visuals for
mhm.
that piece. And other than so, it didn't happen because of the lockdown, the entire thing that's going on around us because of the pandemic and stuff. So right now, I'm planning to release at least three or four of my compositions on Spotify.
Mhm.
But so I'm in the process of recording those songs. So once the lockdown is over, I have to hit the studio and get those things done as soon as possible. So
Awesome.
maybe
That sounds like a plan.
maybe this year end or maybe early next year I'll be coming up with that.
That's brilliant. I really hope that we all get to hear you properly, like digitally recorded and all that, because these songs will sound amazing. And you also you've got a fantastic guitar. Congratulations on that. So
Yeah, yeah. This is a really nice guitar.
it's a
This is a
brilliant
really nice
guitar.
guitar.
We have very less
Yeah.
time left before we sign
Hmm.
off. One shot, last piece.
All right. It's tough. All right. This is again a classical piece. This is the first piece that I learned when I started learning classical. This one is called Romanza. But yeah.
Yay! Thank you so much. And this is
All
the
right.
first tune, any first classical tune that even I had heard when I was younger.
Right.
And I had a classmate in school. He's also a fantastic guitar player. I think you know him. His name is Ritoban. So he used to
Yeah,
play
with the one.
this back in school. I remember. So when that's and actually he introduced me to this sound. I had no idea what an island string guitar was before I met him. And of course, later on, so on and so forth. Gradually, more people and more concerts here and there, but this has been a very insightful session. Thank you so much for doing this with us. And we
My
really
pleasure.
wish you all the best that, may you get to release your music very soon. And most importantly, may we get to meet very soon. Because
Yeah, yeah.
I also have to meet your
Long
partner
pending.
and tell her that what all debauchery we used to do back in back in the
Yeah,
time when there
she
was
knows.
when there was no pandemic. So yeah, thank you
Yeah,
so
she
much.
knows kind of.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Ray. Thanks, Ray, for having me.
Thanks so much, guys. If you like what you see, if you like our content, whatever little we are doing, please go like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Replay Original, and of course share this video if you happen to like it. Share it anyway, even if you don't like it. Thank you so much.